Welcome everyone. Good afternoon. So today we're discussing our project called Home Automation Project with our three. And we are we don't have a group. For introduction, the primary goal for this project is to basically control a home electrical appliances. Inside your house remotely using a wireless device, which is in this case is the iPhone. So when we say remotely, it means that our project, which is that box, is inside the house, and my cell phone or my iPhone is basically on a different network, which is outside the house. And also when we say control, it means we can just turn on and off our appliances. So the primary purpose of this project is to pretty much, so let's say you might be in a coffee shop, relaxing, having a cup of coffee, but then you forgot to turn off lights in your house. So you can do it with your phone, actually. And also, let's say you're coming home late night, and then you wanna turn on your lights as soon as you came in. You could also do it with your phone. So that's pretty much the purpose. One requirement about this is we use the Arduino unit, which is the microprocessor, pretty much the brain, our brain in this project. That has to be connected to the home network, and we have to configure some simple configuration called port forwarding, which we can discuss and demonstrate later on. As I talked about, we use our Arduino unit. This is microcontroller board. We will discuss this a little bit later. And this is what it looked like. And also we use this relay board, which is one of our main components for this project. This project involves programming, so we will discuss what we did in this project, what kind of programming we did, and pretty much how hard it is. Also, we're going to talk about project structure. Our project is right there in the box. We will discuss how did we came up with that idea. Also, one of the biggest thing about this project is we developed an iPhone application. So we will discuss that later on too. Also, we have a Cisco networking. So we integrated networking communication in this project. So Vincent is going to discuss that too. Team responsibility. So I myself mainly responsible for programming Arduino, the project design, and also anything that has something to do with the iPhone development. I did that.
And I am responsible with all the networkings, equipments, configurations, implementations, and design.
So let's talk about Arduino U. So a lot of you may be wondering, what is Arduino U? So Arduino is basically an open source electronics prototyping platform based on a flexible, easy-to-use hardware and software. It is intended mainly on artists, hobbyists, students, and anybody who has programming experience. So why did we choose this board? Why Arduino? So first obvious answer is we learned this in class. So we have a class, a microprocessor class, that we had a hands-on experience on Arduino. So one advantage also is it's easy to program, it's inexpensive, it's simple enough, it's cross-platform, which means we can use it on Windows, Mac, and Linux computers. So one great feature about our board that we use today, this is something new to what we learned in class. It has actually networking capability. So it's either wireless or wired connection. So that's something new to this board. Also in this setup, our Arduino will act as a web server. So which means that you can just go to a web browser and pretty much control the pins from there. So here's what it looked like. So that's the main components of the Arduino. We have Wi-Fi and also the Ethernet port. And here's the actual device. So let's talk about the project design. At first, we're trying to think of what kind of system to use to enclose the project. But since our project is all about home automation, so we had an idea to make a miniature of a house, which is right there. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a house. It's a miniature of a house. So just think about this house. That's it. So it has home outlets, just like what you see at home. Inside, there's electrical wiring that I did. And it functions the same as what you see here in the wall outlets. The one main component I used is the relay board. So basically, this pretty much. So what it is for? So this acts as like a switch. So it acts as this switch right here. So right here, instead of switching on and off using your hand, this one actually is controlled by the Arduino. So it's switching on and off on the switching on and off the electrical circuit. So why did we not just use the Arduino? So I think it's going to be a disaster if we use that, because our board is going to blow up, because we're using high voltage and high currents. So we use this. So here's the wiring diagram inside the box. We have this relay. We have this relay board right here, and we have this AC input. This is located here behind the box. It's connected actually to the wall socket, so it's actually live. So here we have this. So here we have this 3 outlets. One of them is inside the box, and 2 of them is here in the front. So everything is pretty much connected to this relay board. This is, as I said, this acts as a switch. So once I turn on this little box right here, which is the relay one, this specific receptacle or outlet turns on. And the setup in this outlet here is this top one is completely independent of the bottom one. So which means when I turn on relay one, this bottom one actually stays off until I turn on this second relay. So they have separate connections. So another thing is this iPhone application. I think this is the best thing we did in this project. First of all, we need the IP address of the Arduino. So that's the first thing we need to put in the iPhone app. So the next one is I want to talk about is how did I do this application. So the time I spent doing this is it's a lot of time. So I think it's about 3 to 5 weeks to do this project alone. So this is something that we never learned in class, and this is something that is new for me. So it's really complex. It took me another 2 to 3 weeks after that to just polish the app and look for some errors. Overall, the time spent in this project is to research how to do the iPhone app. Because as I said, this is something that we never did in class. We never learned in class, especially the programming part. I watch a lot of videos online, tutorials and everything, forums, blogs. So it's really time-consuming process, and fortunately, it works. So I want to talk about the programming part of that. So it uses Objective-C language. That's something that I've never seen before. I mean, I never learned or never encountered before. So it uses that language. The platform I use is the Mac OS, so OS X. So it means that I can't do this on Windows. So it only can do it in an Apple computer, which is the Mac. The software I use is Xcode 5. This is something good about Apple. They have a specific software to write the program, which is really great. And the device, I use my iPhone for that. So here's something that you can see. I did a screenshot on my Mac. So this is the design. So that's how I designed the app. Pretty much. The next picture is the code. So I know no one can see that, but we can zoom it in later on. That's the part of the code in the overall app. Here's another picture. And here is the some snippet of the code. So all of these basically is for the one toggle switch in the app. So here basically it's saying that if my switch is on, which means when I turn the switch on, then do this, which is basically just ask for, it's gonna go to this address, which pretty much tells the Arduino to turn this on. And if not, then just stay off. Pretty much, that's the easiest way I can say. So here's what it looked like. Here's pretty much the code, one of the code that you seen before. So that's right there, and I have 4 of those or 5. So we're gonna demonstrate that later on. So another main thing on this project is networking. So Vincent is gonna do it for us.
Again, I am Vincent and I'm going to discuss how we incorporated networking in our project. We will show you a diagram of a simulation of a wide area network of 1. And let me explain the diagram. This device right here is the Arduino ENT, which is connected to the home router. It is connected through wireless connection. In our setup, the Arduino is inside the box right here, connected to the home router, the wireless connection. This part represents our home network. And then the home router is connected to an ISP or internet service provider. ISPs are companies that provide internet service to companies or other companies or individual. In our project, we use Comcast, it's right here. And they're connected via this link, it's a crossover. And then the Comcast router is connected to a Verizon router through this link. In real life, in that connection, there are hundreds or more routers that are connected to each other. They are connected using serial cable, fiber optics, or communication satellites. And then the Verizon router is connected to this cool router right here. And our iPhone that will be used to control the Arduino is connected to this school router through a wireless connection. And there are numbers in here. These are the IP addresses which every device has. The 10.0.0.0 IP address is a private IP address which is used in the internal network or just for the school network. And to go to the internet, those devices use the 94.17.50.202. On the other hand, our home network uses 192.168.1.0 private IP address and uses 54.17.50.202 to go to the internet. Let's go to the next slide. Right here shows the configuration for the Comcast router, right here. And let me explain the commands. This command right here gives name to the router, and that line of command says interface S00 means go to the serial interface 00 and assign an IP address 108.42.65.82. For the next slide. Same. There's one of the most important configuration in the router is the routing protocol, which are a set of instructions that allow communications between routers. In our project, we use router RIB version 2. And now we will show you how our setup works. This laptop right here is connected to the home router,
Which is this one?
and then I'm going to check the configuration of the this right, the number, the IP address right here, the 54.17.50.202. And then I'm going to check if the Arduino unit is connected to the router. And it's connected because of the MAC address, which is right here, 90. That's the MAC address of the Arduino unit. And the 192.168.1.2 means that the Arduino unit gets that IP address. Another important configuration of the router is the port forwarding, which allows connection between the home router and from the internet.
To the Arduino.
Okay, so let me type the IP address of the Arduino unit and enable the port forwarding.
And now I'm going to show you how to, so right now I'm going to connect to the school router, which is the white router right there. The access point name is Francis, because actually that's what I use at home. Let me show you. So right now I'm connected to that. Anybody can see that?
Yeah.
Alright, so let me show you the IP address I have. So right now I have 10.0.0.102. So we all know that this is different from the Arduino. The Arduino IP address is 192.168.1.2. So this is just a simulation of the wide area access, wherein think about the Arduino is at home, and then this phone is on a school router. So this is different network. Let's go to the app. Yeah, so this is the one I made. So we're gonna enter the public IP address because that's what we're gonna use to go into the Arduino. So it's 54.17.50.202. Not 202. There you go. So hopefully it's gonna work. So we're gonna click the output. That's something that we have to do for the Arduino. And pretty much the relay one is, I think it's connected to the light right here. And then the relay 2 is connected to the electric farm right there. And the relay 3 is connected to this yellow guy right here. So hopefully when we turn that thing on, everything should work properly. So yeah, is it on? Yeah, so that's on. Let me turn on relay 2. It's turning on, and so this port 1 is actually connected inside. We have some light inside the box. So let me shut that off.
Right, better than we've got going on in this building.
Yeah, so the relay port is, I don't know if anybody can see that. So
Yeah.
that's the light inside.
Mhm.
the box. So let me turn that on again. Hopefully they're all on. Yeah, so it's turned on. So that's how our project works. Let me go back to here. That's the diagram. So problems encountered. So first of all, iPhone app development is not as easy as I thought. I thought you can just, Google it and you get an iPhone app, but it's not. So it's really a lot of work, a lot of research, and pretty much this critical thinking. And this programming language is new to me. I have a Java programming language, and it's really basic. So this setup is it's a lot of fun to do. So the design is really hard. I have to do a lot of research and watch online videos to do that. The programming language is not as easy. It's really hard to. It's really new to me. It's not like a Java that is. I think it's Java is easy, but this is different because I use their software, which is the Xcode 5. Also, before we have only a static IP address, it means that the Arduino should have that specific IP address. Then if not, we couldn't even control it with the phone. So right now, we fixed it, and as you know, as you've seen before, we can change the IP address and put it in the iPhone, and it's working.
We encountered a problem with our networking. There was no communication between the Arduino unit and the iPhone, which means no communication means the Arduino unit couldn't be controlled by the iPhone. Our solution was to add another router and configured it with routing protocol. And after that, our setup works.
Works like a charm. So also we're trying to do an HTML code, but later on we just decided to not include it because we didn't really want the design that we did. It's not really complex programming. It's HTML is what we use for web design, but we just decided not to do it since our iPhone app basically does everything. So project design at first, as I talked about earlier, we don't know how to pretty much enclose it, but later on we came up with that idea that just to make a miniature of a house, and we want to be able to make it presentable as well. So that concludes our discussion. Any questions, concerns, comments? Yes.
How much amperage can you put through that little circuit board to control those? Like, can you hook up a Xbox 360 to one of those outlets?
I believe so. So the relay board can handle up to 250 volts and 10 amps each board. So each outlet I have can handle 250 volts and 10 amps. And also I have a fuse on the box on the AC input. So if the signal goes up to 10 amps, I have the 10 amps fuse. So I mean this box is pretty safe, I guess. Any more questions? Yes.
Suppose on your iPhone it failed to start whatever circuit or whatever, would you get a message back on your phone?
Yes, so that's one thing that we didn't have. So our iPhone is only one-way communication where the iPhone sends signals to that Arduino, but then it just stops right there. So we don't have some kind of mechanisms that can send something back to the phone that is really turned on. So that's one thing that we need to take a look on, because there's a lot of, I guess there's a lot of programming skills to put into it.
But I thought, for instance, you had some mechanism
Right,
to do that.
right, yeah, but,
it's not reliable.
Yeah, so
Because
not
it's
really,
free. Anything
it's-
that's free.
Yeah, so that's one thing I guess we need to work on to make them two-way communication. So when we send signal to the Arduino, then we can have like a status message that is going to send back to my phone or email, that's gonna say that it's really turned on.
Okay, Francis, you said that you did a lot of learning via videos.
Correct.
Have you thought about posting yours on there for the world, see the app and see the stuff?
I think so.
I
But,
recommend it. I think it would be worth
Right, yeah,
doing.
so I need to pretty much improve this app because my app only pretty much, the Arduino itself has 13 pins, 13 or more. So it's actually 20 pins that I can control. But with this phone, I'm only controlling 4 pins, pretty much. So I guess I could make another app that
No, I
control
would say
everything.
I'd be excited to show I can control 4. Okay.
Because actually there's an app like this available on iTunes, which is the app store for Apple. But the problem is it's not working on the newer devices or newer software. So that's pretty much the, so I make my own app, that's why. And the iPhone app is it's a lot of process. We sign up for the program, Mr. Loper, and we sign up for the school actually sign up for the program. So I can be able to pretty much test the app inside my phone. Because if not, then
Right now, it only works for that phone,
Yes.
correct? It's only
So
allowed
only
to work
this
for that.
specific one, because I didn't publish this to iTunes because I gotta have the developer account, which is we have to pay for that service.
Now, if you would have programmed it, continued programming in HTML, you would have been able to use it on any device, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So actually, you can just let me show you. You can so right here, which one is that? So right here, I'm on the inside. Pretty much, this is like in our home router. So I can just type in the IP address, which is 1.2/Arduino, and so let's say I want to turn on the first one, which is 2.0. So I can do that, and it turns on. So basically, that's what my app is doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So HTML coding is really simple, but we couldn't really get the design that we needed. So you can control it even with your phone, just to do this, everything here. Just type it to the web browser, as long as they're connected to same network. So that's the good thing about that.
So the complexity of what you did was that interface.
Yes. So yeah, pretty much everything does this, but I just make it kind of like presentable. So I make it graphical user interface, pretty much. Any more questions? Yes.
Is there anything that you know now that you would do different? Is there anything that you would do that would have been easier or made it, I don't know, design go quicker, or anything that you know now that you didn't know when you first started?
Oh, the iPhone app actually. Yeah. So well, this one makes it a little bit easier because of the features of this board. So this setup here is basically available for us